SafeHarbor Foundation presents stories of hopelessness and hope, stories of addiction and courage. These are the true stories of real people fighting their battles, reclaiming their lives.
My name is Nick. I'm a gratefully recovering addict, and I'm about to celebrate 10 months of clean time. I just turned 39. I'm from Illinois. I have a 5-year-old. He'll be 6 in October. I had kind of a rough childhood. Dealt with some abuse from a stepdad, and ended up having my grandparents having custody of me. They definitely tried to do the best they could, but with the age gap, they definitely struggled with me. I was kind of a wild child. I left home at 13 and was pretty much on my own since then. Went through a lot of the street life, gang related, drugs. Went through periods where, I was robbing people, things like that. As soon as I turned 18, I made it to prison and spent most of my young adult life in prison. I've done 7 years altogether. And then when I got out of prison in 2013, I had a bit of a change of mind. I got into college, got some training on heavy equipment operation, OSHA, some different things like that related to the trades. Moved up to Aurora, Illinois, where I met my son's mom, and spent about 7 years up there. Had a pretty decent life for the most part, but my son's mom was an alcoholic, and that was something that really bothered me because of childhood, trauma. So after 7 years of going through some struggles with her and trying to come up with ways to get through those and maybe get into some counseling and things like that, I decided that it was best I walk away. So I went back to my hometown, Decatur, Illinois, and after investing so much time in a relationship, it really put me in a bad state of mind, walking away from it. And that's really where I can identify that my heavy active addiction started. Originally, my drug of choice, I would have said, was Coke. However, around that period of time, there was not anything good with that particular drug, and somebody I was hanging out with introduced me to what became my drug of choice, meth. And I don't know, it really sunk its claws in right away. The first time I ever did it, I snorted it. It burnt like fire. So I went to smoking it really quickly. And also around that time, I decided it'd be a good idea to sell it. So I got involved with that, and it wasn't long after I started selling that I turned to the needle. And that was a very fast downward spiral. I went from using about 1 gram a day to using about an 8-ball a day. And just everything associated with that lifestyle, from the hustling with it to not being able to trust anybody, to in and out of trap houses, to always worried about the police, put me in this mindset of always being on edge. And being up for a week at a time definitely didn't help that. So I got to a point where I started using heroin too, to sleep. So I would use heroin a couple times a week to sleep, to try to take off some of that paranoid edge. And it worked for a little while, and then I had to increase the amount, and then I had two drugs of choice pretty much at that point, and since I was already knee deep in the lifestyle, I just figured it was best to go ahead and use them both at once. So I started speedballing, and man, that's when I really got way out of control. That's when I really lost everything. I stopped having any ambition for making money with what I was doing. I stopped having any goal of ever trying to get out of the game. I stopped caring what people thought, including family, friends that I've known my whole life. And I really just gave up on life. I ended up homeless at that point, bouncing from trap house to trap house or dope house to dope house, never sober. And then I ended up catching some charges, and in 2022 I got convicted of crimes relating to motor vehicles and drug possession of drugs. But it should have been a lot worse. My original charges were grand theft auto, 3 counts of possession of a weapon by a felon, possession of heroin, possession of meth, and I was fortunate that I had a little bit of money still, because I was able to get a lawyer, and I fought that case for 2 years, and that's why I was able to end up getting that lesser charge. I got 2 years of probation, and I was high through all of that probation period up until the end of it. There at the end of it, I don't know, man, something in my brain changed. I saw what the problem was. I knew that I was an addict before I even knew what recovery was, and I was tired. So I checked myself into a program, and in November of 2023, I stopped using drugs. I got out of treatment in the middle of January, and I've been in recovery ever since, other than one slip. And that slip was only for a couple days. So it's been a crazy journey. Recovery has been absolutely amazing. It has changed my life in every way that I wanted it to change. I have the right people in my life. I have motivation and ambition to be a better person. Because of what recovery's done for me, I have a passion for helping other people now. I would like to pursue my PRSS certification and eventually get into college and get into addiction counseling and social work. So it's been an amazing journey, and even though there's been some incredibly dark places in that journey, I'm thankful for those, just like I'm thankful for all the good victories that I have now, because without all of it together, I wouldn't be the person I am. Once I got out of treatment back in Illinois in the beginning of 2024, I met my current girlfriend online, and we talked for several months before she made a decision to come out to Illinois and meet me. We hung out for the weekend, went and got dinner, did stuff that new couples do, and we hit it off amazingly. She's in long-term recovery. She works at Highland out here, and she had all the things I was working towards. She got her license back, got her life back, got her kids back, all these things that I want. And after we continued to talk for a little while longer, I decided to move out here. She got me a job at Highland, and we had a little bit of a rough patch. When I started working at Highland, I let my pride get the best of me, and that's when that slip came in that I had mentioned earlier. And so I ended up having that slip, couple days, realized this ain't what I want, got back into treatment, and then came back here and bounced to a couple different places before I landed at Safe Haven. First, I went to Recovery Point, and I decided no, that's not what I needed. Then I bounced to another program in the area, and I just really was not able to make a good rapport with the people in that program. Like, they were, I don't think they were in it for the right reasons. You know, that's my opinion. And then I found out about Safe Haven, and I decided to come here. I did, and honestly, it's been great. And that's how I ended up here. First and foremost, the people that run the program. Everybody's great. They are good about working with us. They are very understanding. They definitely go out of their way to meet the residents where they are, and to, you know, have compassion for them and really take the time to get to know them. I like the fact that I have the ability in this program to really move very independently, you know, as far as job-wise, education-wise, pursuing my recovery. There's no rigid guidelines on what I have to do, other than I have to make meetings and stay sober, which is excellent for me because I'm very self-motivated. And lastly, the thing I really like about this program is the residents. You know, we have a lot of really great people in this program, and from my observation, it seems like the people who come to this program really want to be here, and that makes a big difference. Don't be scared to try something different. If you're stuck in that life, you already know it sucks. So how much worse could a little bit of change be? You know, new things are always going to be scary, but it's scary wondering if you're going to go to prison for life every day. It's scary if you're wondering about getting a bad batch of dope and being dead. You know, it's scary losing your kids. It's scary being homeless. It's scary doing everything associated with that lifestyle. The only thing scary about changing that lifestyle and getting into this one is that initial transition. Once you get in it, this stuff's easy. You know, there's great support. There's so many resources. So don't be afraid to really just make that first decision and try it, because you're not going to regret it.
This has been a SafeHarbor Foundation podcast. This episode and others are available at safehavensoberhomes.com. If you know of someone who needs help with addiction, please call us at 304-853-3869 or visit us at safehavensoberhomes.com. Be well, people. We do recover.